Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Biology in the Basement with your host, Mr. Andraco. So, projects are coming in hot and heavy, which is great. I will start presenting them on Monday, but of course, you're going to have some other work to do. Most of you, as you're finishing up the projects, you may be bored this weekend or just ready to move on to more biology work. And that is going to be with the kingdom fungi, or the mushroom kingdom as we simplify it. So I'm going to talk about them today and give you some assignments to work on related to the kingdom. And then that will keep you busy for a couple days, and there'll be some more assignments rolling in next week while I present your presentations, which I look forward to doing. So here is your fact of the day so that we can get started. And it happens to be that, of course, this is commonly disputed. So we'll just say one of the largest living organisms on our planet is a fungus, and it is found underground. There is a fungus located in the state of Oregon. And as you can see, it's in a national park. It's a fungus called Armillaria. Armillaria is known to live underground, and its job is to decompose roots of dead trees. They're the ones that make the stumps look like they've been burned up or set on fire, which is not true. That's just how they work. So there seems to be a whole network of the same genetic fungus living underground in a huge chunk in Oregon. So it's debated as one of the largest living species on Earth. So let's begin. Hopefully, as you know, right, a fungus is eukaryotic. It does have a nucleus and many organelles. We'll see some differences in their cells shortly. They are heterotrophs. Remember, these guys consume. They are consuming things that are on the ground or on standing trees or on our bodies or other bodies. Funguses are everywhere. And they are consuming. One thing that is semi-unique to them, we've talked about protists as well as plants that reproduce by this method, but all fungus reproduce by spores. Another thing they have in common with bacteria and plants, though they are neither, is that they have cell walls, but their cell walls are made of chitin. Remember, chitin is that carbohydrate that goes crunch when you step on a bug. So, since fungus has a unique cell structure, they also have a unique name. That is hyphae. Hyphae is a fancy name for fungal cells, or cells of fungus. And this is because their growth is a little bit different than your average cell. They are advantageous growers or pioneers where they find an opportunity, the spore opens, and off they go. And so their cells look a little bit different, somewhat stringy in growth. And that is what is called mycelium, which is a whole mass of hyphae, where you can see they don't even break off individual cells because they're just growing so quickly, because the moisture or the source of food may only last so long, so they just try to stretch out and grow as quick as possible. So this is an example of what you would see when you see fungus growing, say, underground or inside of a tree log or something like that. This is some electron micrographs of mycelium, right? Groups of these hyphae cells. This one even has fruiting bodies, which we'll talk about. But before we get to that, the fungus is a perfect example of the analogy tip of the iceberg. In case you've never heard, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It really means there's more to the story. Um, just as a general tip in life, you shouldn't judge people at all or any situation because you're looking at just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more underneath that's going on when you make a spot judgment, when you don't have all the information. And so usually that's what they're talking about when they refer to. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So it's either don't make a quick judgment because, it's kind of like judging a book by its cover, but it's also, there's a lot more to that story that if we had time, we'd talk about. Well, the fungus is very similar to that as well. And that is that most of its activity is going on under the scenes. You usually do not see a fungi or fungus's presence until it is time to reproduce, right? You see these fruiting bodies, the mushrooms, right? Once you get to the mushroom stage, that fungus has completely consumed enough resources so that it is able to actually make it to this stage. A fungus needs to get enough nutrients stored up so that it may begin the reproductive process. So I always like to look at the mushroom as a good example of another tip of the iceberg analogy, right? When you look at a mushroom, that's just the tip of the fungal activity going on underground or inside a tree. So that's your lecture. Very, very short. What you need to do is either rewatch this video and fill in these lines, or I will also share this slideshow with you. There's only 4 terms that I want you to take away from the fungal kingdom, and so you can handwrite those out. Also, your assignment due Wednesday will be H137 through, hold on to your hats, kids, H137 through H146, and I will also post this on the classroom site. But I want you to do all the pages related to the kingdom fungi, as they say. So H137 to 146 due Wednesday, and fill in these terms in your book. For those of you who have asked the same or similar question, the way I plan on doing this is just taking your orange books from you for a day or two and just run through the pages and just check that you've been doing your work. I think that'll be the easiest way, is to just collect your orange books and look over them that way. So just keep plugging away on those books and submitting your other assignments to me as we go, and we will hopefully be together soon. Be well, everybody, and have a good one.